Voice over IP technical overview. I know you guys have taken a lot of CBTs, but we're trying to hit on some of the key products that are really, you don't know enough about data, you will get run over by the data bus. Because more and more companies are looking to converge their networks, and converge their networks means bring their voice and data on the same network, so that it's easier for them to manage and it's easier for them to have cost efficiencies. How many people have been to a switch? Raise your hand. Wow, quite a few. Yeah. Okay, good. What is a soft switch? How does it compare to a TDM switch, which is a traditional switch that we use for phone service? What services can a soft switch provide, and what are the advantages? So those are the kind of questions that your customers are asking. Well, if you look at the 5E switch, and you're going to see that tonight, it takes up a much larger space than this room itself. Soft switch takes up 1.3 square feet. So for those that thought big was better, small is much more efficient.
You wish.
No, there's no parallel there. But thanks for bringing that up. We're already a complex.
Bring it up yourself.
Ask lots of questions. Greg is just a wealth of knowledge. And any questions that come up today that I might say, let's hold that question to Greg. I might do that because either A, it might be too technical, or B, I might not know the answer. So I'll pass that off to my next gen trainer, which is Greg Utberg. Now we've sold a few, we've already pulled back again, and so now we need Mario to approve any deals. Because the problem we're having now is not that the technology is bad, the problem is we don't have the resources to make sure it works properly, make sure our end users are being educated. Think about a product now that goes to the desktop level in a company. So it's not more just pulling in a T and plugging it into a smart jack and then plugging the PBX in and let them worry about all that connectivity. It's now, does their local area network and their wide area network have the capabilities to really send those calls around? So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at. Mark?
When I was about to sell that service, we came across a situation where now we have to do a LAN review or a
LAN assessment.
Network assessment. What I was looking for.
Absolutely.
Are we still using HP to do that? Because I have other guys that do a much better job of it.
In some locations and SIP in others, and still have them on 3 or 4 digit dial?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the neat thing about VoIP. I mean, everybody goes out there and thinks VoIP is a cookie cutter system. We just say, okay, here's our 3 plans for VoIP. Which one do you want? And then you just pick and choose. It doesn't work that way. When we start training on this, we try to segregate the two so you can understand both of them. But when we actually come up with a solution, it might be multiple locations. One's using an old key system, one's using an IP PBX, one's using hosted. We might have hosted in a couple of locations, and we have SIP trunk group in another location plugged into an IP PBX, or we have SIP trunk plugged into an IAD, which is going to go to a key system of some sort. So it really depends. It's so custom that the solution really needs to have those senior data specialists to work with you so you can go in and give a custom solution to that customer.
Some kind of phone service still?
There is some backup programs, some diversity that I don't want to go into right now because it would take up a lot of time. Because we're right now, Ben Jackson and myself are going around the country. We'll be in your office at some point. What office are you in? Clark. Actually, Clark might be coming up soon, and we're going to be doing the network diversity training, and you're going to see what those. So one of the things you're going to see right away is we're going through fewer ports. Do you understand how a switch works? A switch is like a hotel. You have a hotel, you have 100 rooms. Once you sell 100 rooms, the next 101 person that comes in to buy a room for you, even though they want to pay you $1 million for that room, you say, sorry, I have no rooms left. So as you start to fill up those ports, and the more ports you take, per customer, per account, then the less ports you have to keep adding more and more customers. So you can see that this strategy is going to allow us to lower our costs somewhat to be able to keep our costs down as a company, make us a little more profitable, make ourselves not have to buy all that extra equipment as often as we would have to if we were doing conventional. If I have a box, and I take this box, I put it on the table, and I fill it full of good-sized rocks. And I go, Jason, is this box full? Jason's going to look at it and go, oh yeah, the box is full. All the boulders are at the top, so it's full. Then I take some smaller stones and I sprinkle them in, and I shake the box, and they kind of filter in all the cracks. And then I say, Jason, is the box full now? And Jason says, okay, yeah, it's full now. Then I take sand, and I place the sand in there, and I shake it, sift it in, and Jason says, all right, it's now full. And then I take water, and I pour water in that box. So that's how it converts. It doesn't matter what's in there. It will take up the space that it needs up to that bandwidth that it has for availability. So it's very important that you know what your competitors are doing in the areas that you're selling. Thank you, Chris.
Good job.
I think he should. He's the only one that shouted out for
There wasn't one. Which side
7.
here?
last. Lucky 7.
Money.
Is the center pot?
Well,
Is it a cigar set?
what the heck is this?
What's that?
It's a big person.
I don't want to reach what I think it says.
Interesting.
Get this on camera. Get this on camera. Is it in Dutch?
What the hell?
Can I try reading it?
You might not want
What? Do any of those things look like that?
Oh, I know what it is. Oh, it's that little white box. It's the fan thing. It's that little white box up in that corner.
Bullet line?
Fan bullet, or bullet fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both fans? It looked like.
Yeah, it's that little... Yes.
He
Yeah.
labeled it.
Yeah.
Should have known David would label it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, no. You want to see what it is?
It's one of those, yeah. Those are called batteries, though.
Maybe there's batteries up there. Maybe you can win batteries. And you can work the thing.
Interesting. You didn't want it on the cross.
So sitting in our network cloud is that BroadWorks feature server that does all the magic, right? It's the PBX in the cloud, and you're going to see that tonight. Then we have attached to the feature servers the customer database, so we know who our customers are. So if you look at our customer, our hosted customer, this is what it looks like. We have VoIP phones, soft phones, all sorts of different types of phones sitting on their desk, right? Sitting on their desk, going through their local area network or wide area network, and that's where the problem can be. I mean, I'm sure you can probably tell lots of nightmare stories of, you know, well, we got this little switch and we just plug everything in and hope it works, type of thing. Well, you can't do that with VoIP because it just doesn't work. So we connect up their private network into our MPLS VPN network, and then we get their services from the soft switch. So here's the, I always forget what the SBC stands for. System Border Control. You're right. Session Border Control. That's exactly what it is. You know what it does? If he knows what it does, I'll give him a prize.
I don't know what it does.
I'll give you a prize. Give me a number.
3.
3.
20.
Batteries. It's a paper clip holder.
What?
There. I think it comes with paper clips. All right, so then off of that network we have 2 different gateways. One is the signaling gateway, and one is the media gateway. They do 2 different things. You'll see that later tonight when you go through the switch. And then of course the SS7 is the telephony network that you all know and understand. So off of there we can hang all these different media gateways. They can go into different tandem offices and wherever they need to be, wherever we have local service and whatnot. Those are hung off our network too. Now if we look at the SIP trunk group example, here's our customer that we put a SIP trunk group in, and we tie it into the IAD. And off the IAD we can hang off the LAN, the local area network. We can give them data, internet, and then we can also tie into their PBX key system or POTS lines and just do regular phone service that way. Or if it was an IP-based PBX, we can plug the SIP trunk group right into that, and that will do everything for them. If you have questions, and for the newer guys, you can have a lot of questions, but don't feel intimidated by this product because you don't have to know all of this stuff. If you can find the opportunities, you can hunt them, bring in somebody with the big guns and say, hey, yeah, you talk this stuff. I don't understand it.
Amen.
You don't need to. Exactly. They use the internet, which has no quality control. It's best effort. Remember what we learned in MPLS? So it's best effort. We can't get those calls through quick enough. They have more dropped packets, which means in a real-time conversation, I started dropping packets, and every time something works, it's going to be like this. So, with that said, it's 6 after 12. We're going to break for lunch. We're going to come back to this after lunch. Are we going to give them a full hour till 1?
Give them the one.
I'll give them to 1. 55 minutes.
All right.